Captain Emily Rodriguez stood motionless on the bridge of the UES Normandy, her steady gaze fixed on the quantum display showing the approaching hegemony fleet. The massive alien vessels breached Jupiter's orbit with casual arrogance, their energy signatures blazing like artificial stars against the void. 23 ships, each one dwarfing her vessel, yet Emily felt no fear, only a calm certainty born from years of preparation. Quantum Mesh Network confirms 6 more vessels hiding in Jupiter's magnetosphere. Lieutenant Alexandra Thompson reported from her neural interface station, her fingers dancing through holographic data streams. They're trying to be clever. Emily allowed herself a small smile. Let them think they're being subtle. Are they still ignoring our defense satellites? Yes, Captain. They've classified them as primitive communication relays. Thompson's tone carried a hint of amusement. Their sensors aren't even sophisticated enough to detect the quantum cores. The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, but Emily could sense their collective anticipation. Humanity had waited decades for this moment, watching through their quantum ghost drones as the hegemony subjugated one civilization after another. Always the same pattern. Arrive with overwhelming force, demonstrate their supposed technological superiority, and demand submission. Incoming transmission. Commander James Murphy announced from weapons control, broadcasting on all frequencies. They're not even trying to be selective. Put it through, Emily ordered, straightening her midnight blue uniform. The holographic display materialized before the bridge, showing a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes. The alien's ornate armor gleamed with pulsing energy patterns, a deliberate display of technological advancement. Primitive species of Sol system, the hegemony commander's translated voice boomed with rehearsed condescension. We are the hegemony of 5,000 suns. Your radio transmissions and crude space vessels have drawn our attention. Prepare for integration into our enlightened civilization. Resistance would be a pause for dramatic effect, inadvisable. Emily exchanged knowing looks with her crew. The aliens hadn't even bothered scanning for quantum communications or advanced energy signatures. Their arrogance was exactly what Earth's Defense Council had predicted. Engineering reports all systems nominal. Chief Engineer Catherine Martinez's voice came through the neural link. Metamaterial hull is responding perfectly. They still can't see us for what we really are. Emily nodded, though her engineer couldn't see it. The Normandy's outer shell currently mimicked the energy signature of a simple patrol vessel, hiding the true nature of their ship. Decades of technological development, all masked behind a facade of apparent primitiveness. Their flagship is moving to optimal demonstration position, Murphy reported, betting they're about to try to shock and awe us with their energy weapons. Status of the quantum mesh? Emily asked, though she already knew the answer. Her crew was the best Earth had to offer. Full coverage, Captain, Thompson confirmed. Every hegemony ship is mapped down to their power fluctuations. We're reading their shield harmonics, weapons configurations, and they're powering up their main guns. Looks like they want to put on a show. The hegemony fleet moved with practiced precision, their massive ships arranging themselves in a display formation they'd likely use to intimidate countless other species. Their energy weapons charged, creating a spectacular-like show that would have terrified a truly primitive civilization. Your species shows promise, the hegemony commander continued, clearly enjoying his rehearsed speech. But you require guidance to join the galactic community. Observe the power of true advancement. Emily waited until the aliens paused for effect. This is Captain Emily Rodriguez of the United Earth ship Normandy, she responded, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's preparation. You have entered restricted space without authorization. The Sol system is under human protection. Withdraw immediately. The hegemony commander's multiple eyes blinked in what might have been amusement. You dare to issue demands. Perhaps a demonstration of the gap between us is required. Prepare to witness real power, primitive ones. Weapons status, Emily asked quietly through her neural link. Hypervelocity mass drivers, hot. Murphy responded with professional satisfaction. Project Prometheus is ready for demonstration. Emily settled into her command chair, her gray eyes reflecting the holographic displays surrounding her. Then let's show them what primitive really means. The Hegemony flagship's main cannon lit up the void like an artificial sun, its energy beam cutting through space toward a distant asteroid. The massive rock formation, nearly a kilometer wide, vaporized instantly. Commander James Murphy watched the display with professional detachment, his neural interface feeding him targeting data as his fingers hovered over the holographic weapons controls. A primitive demonstration. The Hegemony commander's voice boomed across the communications channel. Perhaps now you understand the futility of. Target locked. Murphy interrupted through the neural link. Permission to respond, Captain. Captain Rodriguez's lips curved into a slight smile. Show them what a primitive weapon can do, Commander. Single round, minimal yield. Murphy's hands danced through the holographic interface, adjusting the hypervelocity mass driver's parameters. The weapon, hidden beneath layers of metamaterial camouflage, was humanity's answer to energy-based warfare. A railgun evolved far beyond what the Hegemony could imagine. Firing solution computed, he announced. Target, their flagship's forward shield emitter. Projectile mass, 8 grams. Velocity, 0.999 light speed. The Normandy shuddered almost imperceptibly as the round launched. To the Hegemony sensors, it would have appeared as a minor power fluctuation, right until the moment of impact. The projectile, accelerated to near light speed, struck the alien flagship's shields with the force of a tactical nuclear weapon. Silence fell across all communication channels as the Hegemony's supposedly impenetrable energy shields flickered and died around the impact point. A small, precise hole had been carved through multiple layers of their most advanced defensive technology. Direct hit, Lieutenant Thompson reported, her neural interface streaming damage assessments. Their shield matrix is destabilizing. They're trying to compensate, but their systems can't analyze what just happened. The Hegemony commander's image reappeared, his iridescent scales now shifting in patterns that suggested agitation. Impossible. You fired a physical projectile. Such primitive weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Chief Martinez, Rodriguez called through the neural link. Would you care to explain to our visitors why they're wrong? Catherine Martinez's voice carried a teacher's patience as it broadcast across all channels. Your shield technology was designed to deflect energy weapons and low-velocity impacts, but matter accelerated to near-light speed. The kinetic energy involved exceeds your shield's theoretical maximum capacity by several orders of magnitude. Quite simple, really. Perhaps if you hadn't abandoned primitive physics in favor of shortcuts. The alien commander's multiple eyes narrowed. You lie. No primitive species could achieve such velocities. Your technology is impossible. Impossible. Murphy couldn't keep the edge of satisfaction from his voice. Tell that to the hole in your ship. Would you like another demonstration? The quantum sensors showed chaos erupting across the Hegemony fleet. Ships began raising multiple layers of shields, their crews clearly panicking at the realization that their primary defense was useless against humanity's weapons. Their command channel is in disarray, Thompson reported, monitoring the encrypted alien communications. They're trying to figure out how to defend against relativistic kinetic weapons. Their tactical computers are attempting to calculate new shield configurations. Rodriguez stood from her command chair, her presence commanding attention even through the holographic transmission. Allow me to be clear, Commander of the Hegemony. That demonstration used less than 1% of our weapons capacity. The round was designed to disable, not destroy. The next one won't be so gentle. You would threaten the mighty Hegemony. The alien commander's voice wavered between rage and disbelief. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. And yet you never learn to look past your assumptions, Rodriguez replied calmly. You see radio waves and assume we haven't mastered quantum communications. You detect chemical rockets and assume we haven't perfected propulsion. You witness a kinetic weapon and call it primitive. She paused, letting her words sink in. Your next action will determine whether you learn from this mistake or become an example for future would-be invaders. The hegemony fleet's formation began to shift, energy readings spiking across their weapon systems. They were preparing for war, but their tactics, designed for energy weapon combat, were already obsolete. Murphy's hands returned to his weapons station. Multiple targeting solutions ready, Captain. The Ghost drone network has mapped every critical system in their fleet. Let's hope they're better at learning than they are at first contact, Rodriguez said, her gray eyes hard as steel. Because their next lesson might be their last. Lieutenant Alexandra Thompson watched the neural interface data streams with practiced ease, her mind processing the flood of information from the quantum sensors. The hegemony fleet's desperate attempts to reconfigure their shields brought a knowing smile to her face. Her great-grandfather had predicted this exact scenario decades ago. They're cycling through shield frequencies, she reported, her fingers weaving through holographic displays, trying to find something that might stop a relativistic projectile. Their tactical computers are running in circles. Captain Rodriguez nodded, studying the quantum display. Share the historical files, Lieutenant. Let's help our visitors understand exactly what they've stumbled into. Thompson accessed the secure archives, bringing up footage from humanity's first detection of alien life. 50 years ago, we captured our first quantum ghost drone readings of a hegemony battle fleet. Everyone expected us to panic, to abandon our primitive technology, and try copying their energy weapons. The bridge crew watched as historical images played across their neural interfaces. The hegemony's subjugation of the Centauri Alliance flashed before them. Energy weapons blazing, shields shimmering, a display of overwhelming technological superiority, or what they had thought was superiority. That's when my great-grandfather proposed the Parallel Path Initiative. Thompson continued, her voice carrying pride. Why abandon centuries of research into kinetic weapons and materials science? Why not perfect what we already understood? Chief Engineer Martinez's voice joined in through the neural link. While they were developing bigger energy weapons, we were mastering the fundamentals of physics. While they built stronger shields, we learned to bypass them completely. They chose the easy path. We chose the right one. The quantum sensors picked up increased chatter from the hegemony fleet. Their scientists were frantically analyzing the damage from Murphy's demonstration shot, trying to understand how a primitive projectile had pierced their defenses. The thing about energy shields, Murphy added, his hands still resting on the weapon's controls, is that they were designed to counter the obvious threats. Energy weapons, missiles, even traditional railguns. But they never considered what would happen if someone took basic kinetic weapons to their theoretical limits. Thompson brought up another display, showing the internal schematics of the Normandy's hypervelocity mass driver. The mathematics were always there. Einstein's equations showed us the power of mass at relativistic speeds. We just needed three things: precision manufacturing at the quantum level, computing power to handle the calculations, and the patience to perfect it. Incoming transmission, Martins reported. They're scanning us with everything they've got now. Finally woke up to the fact that we might be hiding more surprises. The hegemony commander's image appeared again, but the arrogance had been replaced with something closer to desperate curiosity. Our sensors detect technology that should not exist. Your hull, it defies analysis. Your weapons violate our understanding of physics. What are you? We're human, Rodriguez replied simply. We never stopped learning, never assumed we knew everything. Every time your ships subjugated another world, we watched, we learned, and we chose a different path. Thompson's neural interface lit up with new data. Captain, they're attempting to probe our quantum communication networks. Should I show them why that's a bad idea? Rodriguez considered for a moment. Give them a small demonstration, Lieutenant. Nothing too harsh. With a few graceful gestures, Thompson activated one of the quantum mesh network's defensive protocols. Across the hegemony fleet, communication systems suddenly filled with their own encrypted transmissions, played back at them from quantum ghost drones they hadn't even detected. Impossible. The alien commander's scales shifted to a pale shade. You've broken our encryption. You're listening to our private channels. We've been listening for decades, Thompson explained, allowing herself a small smile. Every transmission, every battle plan, every technical specification. Did you think those primitive satellites you passed were just for show? The revelation sent new waves of panic through the alien fleet. Ships began to break formation, their crews suddenly unsure of everything they thought they knew about humanity's capabilities. "You see, Commander," Rodriguez said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's long preparation, "true advancement isn't about abandoning the old for the new. It's about understanding the fundamental principles so well that nothing remains primitive. Everything becomes a weapon, a shield, a tool, if you master it completely." The hegemony fleet's energy signatures fluctuated as they processed this new reality. They had come expecting to find primitives. Instead, they found humanity. And their definition of advanced technology would never be the same. Vice Admiral Michael Anderson's hologram materialized on the Normandy's bridge, his weathered features carrying the gravity of centuries of human military tradition. The quantum projection system rendered him in perfect detail, indistinguishable from physical presence. Another technology the hegemony had dismissed as impossible for primitives to achieve. "Captain Rodriguez," he nodded to Emily, then turned his attention to the alien transmission. "I am Vice Admiral Anderson, diplomatic liaison for the United Earth Fleet. I trust our demonstration has earned your attention." The hegemony commander's scales rippled with barely contained fury. "Your demonstration changes nothing. You have revealed your hostility to the hegemony. Our response will be measured and careful," Anderson interrupted smoothly, "because you're finally beginning to understand your situation." He gestured, and holographic data streams surrounded him. "Shall we discuss the 7 fleet movements you've made in the past hour? Or perhaps your attempts to bring your secondary battle group out of Jupiter's magnetosphere without our notice?" Thompson's neural interface flashed with new data. "Sir, they're trying to purge their command frequencies and establish new encryption protocols." "Let them try," Anderson smiled. "Every quantum ghost drone in the system is recording their attempts. The more they change their codes, the more data we collect about their communication architecture." Captain Rodriguez watched the exchange with quiet satisfaction. Anderson hadn't earned the nickname Iron Mike just for his unflinching combat record. His real genius lay in weaponizing diplomatic discourse itself. "You claim knowledge of our movements," the hegemony commander snarled, "yet your sensors show only primitive electromagnetic scanning capability. You're bluffing." "Am I?" Anderson raised an eyebrow. "Third vessel in your port formation, designation Stellar Claw. You're experiencing fluctuations in your starboard power coupling. Started 17 minutes ago. Your engineering chief, I believe his name translates to Swift Current, has proposed an emergency shutdown sequence." The alien commander's multiple eyes widened in shock. Several moments passed before he found his voice. "How? How could you possibly know that?" "The same way we know about the structural weakness in your flagship's aft shield generator," Rodriguez added, "or the fact that your secondary fleet is attempting to modify their weapons to fire through the electromagnetic interference of Jupiter's magnetosphere." "Impossible." The commander's scales shifted to a deep crimson. "No quantum scanning technology could penetrate. Your sensor stealth systems," Anderson finished for him, "those were designed to counter standard quantum observation methods. But tell me, Commander, did you ever consider what would happen if someone took quantum entanglement to its theoretical limits?" Thompson's hands danced through her holographic controls. "They're scanning for our ghost drone network now, sir. Should I let them find one?" Anderson nodded. "Show them a 10th generation drone. Let's not spoil all our surprises at once." The hegemony fleet sensors suddenly detected what appeared to be a small probe. Their scans passed right through it, reading nothing but empty space, Yet their visual sensors clearly showed its presence. "What sorcery is this?" the commander demanded. "Matter cannot exist in such a state." "According to your understanding of physics, perhaps," Anderson replied. "But then, you stopped exploring quantum mechanics when you achieved basic teleportation. We kept going, pushed the boundaries, asked questions you never thought to ask." Rodriguez watched as the alien fleet's formation tightened defensively. "They're preparing for another demonstration of force, Admiral." "Of course they are," Anderson sighed, "because they still haven't grasped that this entire conversation is the demonstration." He turned back to the Hegemony commander. "While we've been talking, how many of your encrypted commands have been intercepted? How many contingency plans have we recorded? How many weaknesses in your fleet formation have we identified?" The alien commander's response was cut off by urgent signals from his fleet. Their tactical displays were coming alive with hundreds of quantum signatures, ghost drones that had been present since before their arrival, invisible until this exact moment. "This conversation can end in two ways," Anderson said quietly. "You can accept that your understanding of technology, of warfare, of physics itself, is incomplete, or you can learn firsthand just how far humanity has pushed the boundaries of what you call primitive science." The Hegemony fleet hung in space, caught between pride and preservation, while humanity's invisible net drew ever tighter around them. The Hegemony commander's patience finally shattered. "Enough of these games. Let's see how your primitive weapons fare against a full assault." Energy signatures flared across his fleet as weapon systems charged to maximum power. Chief Engineer Catherine Martinez's hands flew across her engineering console, her neural interface streaming real-time data. "They're really doing it, Captain. Multiple energy weapon signatures. Looks like they're throwing everything they have at us." "Battle stations," Rodriguez ordered calmly. "Lieutenant Thompson, activate the quantum defense matrix. Commander Murphy, prepare responsive measures. Martinez, show them what that primitive hull of ours can do." The first wave of energy weapons erupted from the alien fleet, a devastating barrage that could have vaporized a small moon. The beams struck the Normandy's hull and shifted. The metamaterial surface rippled like liquid metal, redirecting the energy attacks into harmless light shows across the ship's skin. "Impact analysis," Martins reported with professional satisfaction. "Hull temperature increased by 0.3 degrees. Their weapons aren't even scratching the surface coating." She allowed herself a small grin. Guess they never considered that primitive materials science could produce programmable matter. The Hegemony fleet's second wave came immediately. Missiles, plasma torpedoes, and exotic particle beams. Thompson's fingers danced through holographic controls as she coordinated the defense network. "Quantum interference field active," she announced. "Ghost drone network is redirecting their targeting systems. Half their shots are missing by kilometers, and the rest." She paused as another barrage dissipated harmlessly against the Normandy's hull. "Well, they're learning about advanced materials engineering the hard way." The alien commander's voice crackled through the comm system, his translator struggling to convey his mixture of rage and disbelief. "Impossible. No defense system can withstand such firepower." "Actually," Martinez cut in, her voice carrying the practiced patience of a teacher, "your energy weapons are helping us. Each impact is teaching our metamaterial whole new absorption patterns. The more you attack, the stronger our defenses become." She checked her readings. "We're up to 78% efficiency in converting your attacks into usable power." Rodriguez stood from her command chair, her presence commanding even through the holographic transmission to the alien fleet. "You still don't understand what you're facing, Commander. Every technology you abandoned as primitive, we perfected. While you were building bigger guns, we were learning to turn energy itself against you." Murphy's hands hovered over his weapons console. "They're repositioning for another attack run. Captain, permission to demonstrate our point more directly." "Granted," Rodriguez nodded. "Show them the difference between power and mastery." The Normandy's response was surgical. Hypervelocity rounds struck with pinpoint accuracy, each shot calculated to disable rather than destroy. Shield generators failed. Weapon systems went dark. Propulsion units sputtered and died. Target analysis. Thompson reported, monitoring the quantum sensor feeds. 27 critical systems disabled across their fleet. No hull breaches, no casualties. She paused, checking her readings. They're starting to understand, Captain. Their tactical officers are finally registering the precision of our attacks. The hegemony fleet's formation began to break. Ships turned desperately, trying to present undamaged shields to the Normandy, but humanity's ghost drone network had mapped every weakness, every vulnerability. Their command channels are in chaos, Thompson added. We're picking up arguments between ship captains. Some are calling for retreat. Others, she frowned at her readings. Others are suggesting they use their mass accelerator weapons. Apparently, they still have some in storage from their primitive days. Martinez laughed softly. That would be like bringing stone axes to a gunfight. They never developed the technology past its basic form. Open a channel, Rodriguez ordered. Let's end this before pride forces them to learn any harder lessons. But before she could speak, the hegemony commander's voice thundered across all frequencies. You think you've won. You think your mastery of primitive weapons makes you our superior. We are the hegemony. We do not surrender to. His transmission cut off as the Normandy fired a single shot. The round passed through his flagship's bridge shields, missing the commander's head by exactly 2 centimeters before embedding itself in the wall behind him. That, Rodriguez said into the stunned silence, was calculated to miss. The next one won't be. Choose your next words carefully, Commander. They might be your last. Supreme Commander Zextol of the Hegemony Fleet stared at the hole in his bridge wall, his scales shifting between pale fear and deep crimson rage. The human projectile had missed his head by exactly 2 centimeters, not by chance, he now realized, but by precise design. A demonstration of power wrapped in a message of restraint. High Council, he transmitted through his quantum link, his voice subdued. I must report. A miscalculation. The words tasted bitter in his mouth. In 5 centuries of service, he had never admitted such a thing. The council chamber materialized around him in holographic splendor, 9 ancient beings regarding him with their multifaceted eyes. Explain, the first speaker commanded. The humans, Zextol began, then paused as his tactical display showed another hegemony ship losing power. Its systems disabled by precisely targeted human weapons. They are not what we thought. They are not primitive at all. Lieutenant Thompson's voice carried across all frequencies, somehow breaking through even the Council's secure channel. Your emergency meeting is quite interesting, Commander. Perhaps you'd like to share it with everyone. Zextol's secondary heart nearly stopped. Even the Council members showed signs of shock. Their secure quantum channel, developed over millennia, compromised as easily as common radio waves. Impossible. Third speaker sputtered. Our quantum encryption is based on a fascinating but ultimately limited understanding of quantum mechanics. Thompson interrupted. Would you like me to explain where you went wrong? It's actually quite interesting from a theoretical physics perspective. On his tactical display, Zextol watched another demonstration of human capability. Their single ship, the Normandy, was somehow predicting and countering every move his fleet made. Each attempted strategy was met with a precise response that showed not just superior technology, but a deeper understanding of warfare itself. They have been watching us, he reported to the Council, his scales now a deep blue of resignation, not for years, for decades. Every battle, every conquest, every technological demonstration. They were learning, analyzing, perfecting counters to our every advantage. The council chamber erupted in argument, but fell silent as Captain Rodriguez's voice joined the channel. An accurate assessment, Commander. Would you like to know what else we learned while watching? Images began playing across every screen in the Hegemony fleet. Battles, conquests, diplomatic meetings. but not the sanitized versions in their official records. These were raw feeds showing every mistake, every miscalculation, every moment of overconfidence that had almost led to disaster. Your energy weapons, Rodriguez continued. Impressive, but wasteful. Your shields, powerful against the threats you expected, useless against the ones you didn't consider. Your quantum communications, secure only because no one ever thought to look at the problem differently. Zextol watched his crew's reactions. The younger officers showed fear, but the veterans, those who remembered using kinetic weapons, who had studied ancient warfare, they showed understanding. And something else. Respect. But most importantly, Rodriguez added, we learned about your perspective. You see technology as a ladder, always moving upward, abandoning the lower rungs as you climb. We saw it differently. Every technology, every scientific principle, every military strategy. They're all tools. It's not about moving up. It's about mastering every level completely. The council members shifted uncomfortably as more data streamed across their displays. Human technological development paths they had never considered, applications of primitive physics that achieved results they had thought impossible. Your civilization, first speaker said slowly, should not be capable of this level of advancement. Our projections, our understanding of technological progression, were based on assumptions. Thompson cut in. You assumed that because we still used radio waves, we hadn't mastered quantum communication. You assumed that because we still launched chemical rockets, we hadn't developed better propulsion systems. You assumed that because we still studied kinetic weapons, we hadn't discovered energy weapons. And now? Zextol asked, already knowing the answer. Now, Rodriguez replied, you understand that humanity never stopped climbing your ladder. We just chose to master every rung before moving up. And that mastery makes us far more dangerous than any civilization that simply races to the top. Supreme Commander Zextol made his final decision. All ships, battle formation Delta. If we die today, we die as warriors of the hegemony. His fleet responded instantly, energy weapons charging to maximum power as they arranged themselves in their most aggressive combat pattern. Captain Rodriguez watched the display with calm acceptance. So be it. Lieutenant Thompson, activate all quantum ghost drones. Commander Murphy, weapons free. Chief Martinez, initiate metamorphosis protocol. The Normandy's hull began to shift, its metamaterial surface flowing like liquid metal. The single warship split apart, revealing its true nature, not one ship, but many, linked by quantum fields and unified by synchronized combat systems. Component ships deployed, Martins reported, her hands dancing across engineering controls. All systems nominal. Metamaterial matrix stable across all vessels. Thompson's neural interface lit up with tactical data. Ghost drone network fully active. We have targeting solutions for every critical system in their fleet. Their tactical computers are trying to adapt, but they can't track our quantum-shifted signatures. The hegemony fleet opened fire, their energy weapons turning space itself into a deadly light show. But the Normandy's component ships moved with impossible precision, their metamaterial hulls absorbing or redirecting every attack. Their weapons are achieving zero penetration, Martins announced. Energy absorption rate at 92% efficiency. We're actually gaining power from their attacks. Murphy's fingers flew across his weapons console. Multiple targeting solutions confirmed. Permission to demonstrate our full capabilities, Captain. Rodriguez stood from her command chair, her presence commanding even as her ship reconfigured around her. Show them why humanity never abandoned the art of war, Commander. Execute Precision Strike Pattern Alpha. The Normandy's component ships moved in perfect synchronization, each one launching hypervelocity rounds with surgical precision. The projectiles, accelerated to near-light speed, struck their targets with devastating accuracy. Impact assessment. Thompson called out. 23 shield generators disabled. 17 weapon systems neutralized. 32 propulsion units compromised. She paused, checking her readings. 0 casualties, Captain. Every shot hit exactly where intended. Zextal's voice crackled across the command channel. How? How can you coordinate such precise attacks across multiple ships? Martinez answered as her engineering systems continued to adapt to the battle. The same way we mastered material science, Commander. We took basic principles, quantum entanglement, neural networks, synchronized warfare, and pushed them to their theoretical limits. The Hegemony fleet attempted to regroup, but the Normandy's component ships were everywhere at once, their quantum-shifted signatures making them impossible to track effectively. Each alien attempt at coordination was met with precise counterattacks that demonstrated an understanding of warfare beyond anything they had imagined. Their tactical network is collapsing, Thompson reported. They can't maintain formation with our ghost drones interfering with their quantum communications. Their ships are starting to act independently. Now they see it, Murphy said quietly. The difference between having advanced technology and truly mastering combat operations. Rodriguez opened a channel to all ships. Commander Zextal, look at your tactical display. Count your disabled systems. Measure the precision of our attacks. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first volley, but we chose not to. What does that tell you about humanity? The alien commander's response was subdued. It tells us that we never understood what we were facing. Your restraint, it's not weakness, it's mastery. Final warning, Commander, Rodriguez declared. Your shields are compromised. Your weapons are ineffective. Your communications are under our control. The next demonstration will not be so gentle. The Normandy's component ships moved into their final attack position, their metamaterial hulls glowing with absorbed energy, their weapons primed for a killing stroke that would end the battle in seconds. Zextal looked at the quantum display showing his fleet's status. Systems disabled with surgical precision, every weakness exposed, every strategy countered. The humans hadn't just defeated them. They had dismantled them with a level of technological and tactical mastery that redefined his understanding of warfare. Supreme Commander Zextal stood before his bridge crew, his scales now a deep blue of profound realization. All ships, stand down. Power down all weapons. The words felt like gravity itself in his mouth, but they carried the weight of wisdom hard-won. A wise choice, Commander, Captain Rodriguez responded, her voice carrying neither triumph nor mockery. The Normandy's component ships began reassembling, their metamaterial hulls flowing together like mercury until they once again appeared as a single vessel. Vice Admiral Anderson's hologram materialized on both bridges simultaneously. Now, perhaps we can discuss humanity's terms for peaceful contact with the hegemony. Lieutenant Thompson's neural interface captured the moment the hegemony's tactical computers finally stopped searching for ways to overcome the Normandy's defenses. Their systems are powering down, Captain. All ships showing minimal energy signatures. Your civilization, Zextal addressed Anderson directly, has changed everything we thought we knew about technological progression. The Council must understand what we've witnessed here. Chief Martinez's voice carried a teacher's patience. What you've witnessed, Commander, is the result of asking different questions. You looked at radio waves and asked how to replace them. We asked how to perfect them. You saw kinetic weapons as stepping stones to energy weapons. We saw them as foundations to be mastered. Tell me, Murphy added from his weapons station, did your civilization ever calculate the theoretical maximum efficiency of a railgun? Did you explore the full implications of Einstein's mass energy equivalence on projectile weapons? Or did you simply assume that newer meant better? The hegemony commander's multiple eyes blinked in understanding. We abandoned those paths because we found what we thought were better solutions. But you never stopped asking, what if? Precisely, Rodriguez confirmed. Humanity's strength isn't in discovering new technologies. It's in understanding that every technology, no matter how basic it seems, has depths that few bother to explore. Thompson's displays showed the ghost drone network beginning to power down. The quantum mesh is showing interesting data, Captain. Their younger officers are already beginning to study our combat footage. They're learning. Good, Anderson nodded. Because the galaxy is changing as we speak. The age of assuming technological superiority based on superficial advancement is over. The hegemony must adapt or become obsolete. Zextal's scales shifted to a pattern indicating deep thought. The Council will resist these changes. 5,000 years of expansion based on our understanding of technological hierarchy. It won't be easy to accept that we were wrong. Then perhaps, Rodriguez suggested, they need a demonstration of what cooperation between our civilizations could achieve. Chief Martinez, show them the theoretical studies for combining their energy weapon principles with our metamaterial science. Martinez transmitted the data, and Zextal's bridge crew watched in amazement as simulations showed possibilities they had never imagined. The combination of hegemony power generation with human precision engineering created weapon systems that defied their understanding of physics. This, Anderson gestured to the simulations, is humanity's real offer to the galaxy. Not submission, not dominance, but collaboration. Imagine what we could achieve by combining your civilization's breadth of discovery with our depth of understanding. The Normandy's hull shifted one final time, its metamaterial surface displaying a mesmerizing pattern of light that mimicked the hegemony's formal greeting symbols. The gesture wasn't lost on Zextal. You even study our cultural signals, he observed. How long have you been preparing for this moment? Since we first detected your ships approaching the Centauri Alliance, Rodriguez answered. We had a choice then. Panic and try to catch up to your energy weapons technology, or take our own path and perfect what we already understood. I believe today has proven we chose correctly. As the hegemony fleet prepared to escort their human guests to the Council, Zextal realized that this wasn't just a military defeat, it was the dawn of a new era in galactic civilization. Humanity had proven that true advancement didn't mean abandoning the old for the new, but understanding that every technology, every principle, every method had hidden depths waiting to be mastered. The age of the hegemony's unchallenged technological superiority was over. The age of human innovation had begun.